Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Matt Drew, and I'm the host of the Go Big Live Real Estate Investors Podcast, the show that you've listened to and watched over the past almost 2 years. If you are a experienced real estate investor, maybe you own a couple duplexes and looking to scale up into the larger commercial real estate space. So why did I use listened to and watched in the past tense? And I do have a big announcement. I am announcing the official end of this podcaster project that we've called Go Big Live. And I really, really appreciate all of you that have tuned in and gotten value and enjoyment and shared their feedback with me over these years. First things first is, why am I ending it? All right. And be sure to listen to the very end. This isn't the very last podcast. I'm going to be recording about 6 more episodes that are not going to be in the standard interview format that you've been used to. But the reason why I'm ending it is it was never my intention to run this thing forever. All right. The objective was to interview investors on exactly how they did their first larger commercial real estate deal, and then extracting every excruciating detail about the factors that led them to make the decision to go big, how they found the deal, how they put together the funding, because capital is always a bottleneck for us growing, the outcome and all of the glorious outcome and all of the gory details and battle scars that they earned in the process, so as to empower you with confidence and also to avoid some of the mistakes that other people have made along their journey of going big. So I wanted to provide all this information to be inspiration and a blueprint that any investor could use to massively scale their real estate portfolio. And after nearly 100 interviews, the themes became abundantly clear, all right, which I will summarize all of those that I've been able to boil down to their essence in the final shows that I will be releasing over the coming weeks. So that's the first reason why. The second reason why is that I had an incredibly traumatic experience that happened in November 2024. We had bought a historic building that we called the Pulver Studios, or the Pulver building. It was formerly the home of the Pulver chewing gum. And we'd been working on it for almost 3 years. And then it was set on fire by an arsonist.
Nothing? Has it been secured? Okay.
Right now, the building is it's a pile of rubble. Okay. I'll put in some actual pictures and videos of this experience, just so you know kind of like the extent of it and how devastating it was. And I will share my learnings of how this could have been avoided in the future on one of the future episodes. Okay. Some history on this building is that we bought it vacant, intending to save it and bring new life to the Susan B. Anthony neighborhood, which is a nationally registered historic district. It is the area where Susan B. Anthony, the famous abolitionist and women's rights activist, had her house. And this neighborhood was struggling. Is right on the border of downtown of the city of Rochester, right outside of downtown, where we own some other buildings. That being said, not only did this wreck me emotionally after all of our hard work, but it's also turning into a financial disaster as well, which I'll detail the extent and magnitude of that. One thing is that, on another emotional thing here, I used to bring my daughter to this building. I tell her about what we were going to be doing with it. And we also had some monthly market events here. I have a photo right here of we used to bring in a photographer. Opportunity for people to have family pictures and that sort of thing. So I put a photo up there so you can see it. So why was this a financial disaster? Okay. Number one is that we had some insurance issues. Whenever you buy a vacant commercial building or a vacant building altogether, there's a lot of insurance companies that are not even going to insure it. They're high risk. They're high risk for arson, fires due to whatever, right? Water damage, all that stuff. And since this building was vacant, we could only really get a junk insurance policy on it. The max coverage that we could get was $200,000 in this building. And we owe, I was going to use the past tense owed, but we owe $425,000 in this building to our private lenders. All right. So to put the financial loss in perspective, like best case scenario, we're going to take a $225,000 loss or bath on the building. Okay. Not only that, but the place was an absolute inferno, as you saw in the videos before, that the city ordered a emergency demolition of the building, which we had no control over the site, no control over the decision-making or anything like that. And basically, the fate of this building was completely taken out of our hands. And by morning, this building was actually getting torn down. And I have a picture of the actual demolition equipment that was tearing this thing down. And we were seeing this thing, like our dreams and aspirations, getting torn down in front of our very eyes. Okay. So in lieu of them ordering this emergency demolition, they slapped a $50,000 lien on the property. And that tax lien actually is a super lien position, which will put them in front of our lenders in getting those insurance proceeds, which reduces our payout on the back end. Okay. Not only that, right? I don't mean to bum you guys out, because this is just a part of being in the development business. I'm going to get through this, but it's definitely been a seminal moment in my life, a total nightmare, so to speak. So I just wanted to give all the gory details on the magnitude of this thing. Legal trouble, right? Because the fire was so extensive, they were shooting water all over the place. It was a 4-alarm fire, and the next door neighbor's property, which is actually recently renovated, sustained significant damage, all right, because of the water. And so they put in a claim with their insurance company, about $600,000 worth of damage, and they put in a claim with their insurance company, and their insurance company is, of course, suing us and claiming that the building caught fire due to negligence on our part, okay, that we didn't secure the building properly, and so on and so forth, okay. Where this makes things particularly hairy for us is that if this goes to litigation, for instance, and they can prove to a judge or a jury, I have no idea how this stuff works because this is the first time I'm going through it. If they prove negligence in court, then our insurance company could deny the claim entirely, meaning that we get nothing in terms of insurance proceeds. Usually, quote unquote, negligence is a waiver or something that is actually would cause the insurance company to deny a claim. All right. So meaning a total loss of $425,000 or $500,000. Okay. So there's the financial consequences there. Where this has really been the most detrimental to me is the health consequences. Okay. After this, obviously I was dealing with insomnia. I was so stressed out that my fingernails started falling off. You can't really see this on the camera or anything like that. And also I've been experiencing high blood pressure, heart palpitations, all of that stuff due to this experience. Okay. And so I've been through many tough things in my life and business, and trying to make sense of this. All right. It can drive you insane. All right. When things like this happen, whether it's death or loss, trying to make sense of it while you're going through it can be a fruitless endeavor. Right. And I don't talk about this much often, but I am a spiritual person. I'm a Christian. And what I've found some anchoring in and grounding in is this verse from the book of Isaiah. Okay, so this is Isaiah 55, 8-9, and start quotes, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Okay. And I think that when you're going through something particularly difficult in your life or business, you have to understand that there's going to be a silver lining eventually to be revealed, okay? And God speaks in a different language than us, all right? And we have to trust that there's meaning in this that will be revealed with time. At this point, I don't know what it is, okay? So it might be the fact that after this experience, I'm like, okay, it's time to reevaluate, take stock, and hit the reset button and take stock of what really matters, right? My health, all right? If I'm sick or dead, then none of this matters. This whole real estate thing and all of that, all right? 2, my family. And then 3, recognizing how incredibly blessed I am for all the things I do have, right? I have complete control over my time. I spend an enormous amount of time with my kids and my family. We are able to travel around the world. And that's what real estate has provided for us. And I think there was only a matter of time for us to go through an experience like this. But going through, and what's actually kept me sane is practicing gratitude. I know that you probably heard a lot of that on podcasts, and it sounds like woo-woo stuff. But I think that if you're in the state of being grateful and taking stock of what you're grateful for, like all these other negative emotions really can't enter into that. Like you can only feel the peace of gratitude. And regardless of where you are, whether you are if you're a dog, for instance, okay, there's something that you can be grateful for, right? If you woke up this morning, even if you were sleeping out in the street, your heart was still beating, right? So we're way better off than being in the unfortunate circumstance of being without housing, for instance. Okay. We have a beautiful house. I have beautiful children. I have a beautiful wife. My entire extended family is incredibly just salt of the earth people. And we really have to put that into perspective. Okay. So that leads me to this next season of my life, as I've decided in the wake of this experience, is the season of subtraction. All right. I was recently inspired by a documentary on the life of Sylvester Stallone. And I've always looked up to Sylvester, but I really didn't understand the depth of his character. And really, he's a very, very wise person. Everybody kind of like looks to his whole experience with Rocky, being an extreme underdog during the first part of his career and the Rocky franchises. But toward the end of the documentary, he said something that really hit me, right? And he said, from my 20s to my 40s, I was adding and adding and adding. Then after 40, it was time for a season of subtraction, all right? And so that's where I am right now. I've never really subtracted before, so this will be a new experience for me. My biggest challenge probably will not be letting other things take up the space where I do subtract, all right? I want to let that space breathe and to take a moment from 19 years of absolute compression, okay? Since my early 20s, I have been adding and adding and adding and compressing more productivity in the same amount of time that everybody else has out there. And so this is going to be certainly a big chapter in my life. Not only am I ending the podcast as you guys know it, I stepped down as a board of directors for New York State Commercial Association Realtors. I'm in the process of putting together a transition team for a local nonprofit trade association, which I've been president of for the past 2 years, and getting a rock star team in place there so I can pass that on. This is going to be something I'm going to document as well along the journey when I have any type of insights on it. And I am very fortunate to have the liberty to subtract and do less. And I think I've earned it. I think I really have. I don't need more. I have been completely sustained financially since I was 33 years old. I'm 41 now. And during this whole fire experience, I was 40 years old, right? So it's very poignant on the Sylvester Stallone quote in that documentary coming into my life. So what's next? All right. After recording 94 episodes of Go Big Live over 2 years, this is actually episode 94. I have this silly desire to get to episode 100. I know it's arbitrary, but I think it's also going to provide an immense amount of value to you because I'm going to not only distill out the findings I had during these 93 interviews that I had with absolute rock stars across the country from all walks of life, diverse backgrounds, people that came from money, people that came from nothing, people that didn't even grow up in our country, for instance. So the culmination of my insights from those 93 interviews, and also the major lessons I've learned in my 19 years as a real estate investor, okay? And boiling that down to its essence, that will probably take a few shows, and I'm going to extract out themes on there and really put together a step-by-step process or framework within which you can follow if you are looking to scale your real estate portfolio as well. And then how all those lessons that I learned during that experience led to my success in achieving financial independence and building an $18 million real estate portfolio, okay? I'm not going to stop on the development side of things. Probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I made the decision. I don't want to be a deal junk anymore. I'm sick of closing 1 to 2 deals a year. I just want to do one bigger deal a year and kind of push the envelope from there, okay? In terms of deals of greater complexity and size and all that good stuff, just to keep myself, I truly do enjoy what I do. And I think that we create positive economic impact for our community in Rochester, New York, and also positive social impact as well through the work that we do. And also, I just want to keep myself intellectually stimulated and that sort of thing without pushing myself too hard. Final note here, okay? We are going to be migrating over to YouTube, okay? I have a lot of you guys that listen to this, listen on audio podcasts, either through Apple or Spotify and that sort of thing. By the way, please leave a review just so I know, hey, who's listening out there? I have no idea who most of you are because I just don't get any feedback really because this is a broadcast, okay? So I'm going to be moving my future content over to YouTube So definitely make sure to look that up. I think that my handle is Matt M. Druin. So MattMDrouin is my YouTube handle. And then also and I'm going to be dropping educational content on a frequency that is in alignment with when I think that I have something to share that is valuable. Okay. Even though this podcast is ending, I'll still be dropping valuable commercial real estate content there, but only when I have something that I feel is valuable to share, or at least a perspective from a different angle of looking at it. So that being said, I am really excited to release these episodes. They're going to be more in a monologue format like this. And please listen, you can show your appreciation or your insights by commenting on my YouTube videos and that sort of thing. Now, I do not have an ego type of, I'm not like worshiping likes and comments and that sort of thing. But the reason why you get YouTubers or any people that post content on social media, because I'm across all the platforms from Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of them. The reason why content creators have that call to action to comment and share is not just because, oh, I want you to make me feel good. It's that the algorithm, the almighty algorithm on all these platforms will help distribute the content out to more like-minded individuals on their channel, because let's face it, all of these social media platforms, they're ad companies, okay? And so they want eyeballs and engagement, and that's how you can best support me and my cause to help people bust through the ceiling, swim upstream, and really scale their real estate portfolio at exponential speed, all right? And that being said, I'm going to sign off shortly. If you do want help, and the reason why I do this and have been doing this is because I do have a advisory business, and this is exactly what I do. Is I advise, I could become a member of my client's team to help them achieve that next step in achieving a financial independence at light speed, much faster. It took me 11 years. I'm helping clients achieve that in 1 year or less in a lot of cases in terms of case studies. If you are interested in hearing about how I can help you, please be sure to book in a call. I'd love to speak with you. If whatever I had to offer is not your cup of tea, I just use the opportunity to create value and give you as much insight as possible, because what I have is not for everybody. So anyways, God bless, and we'll see you soon.